So we've seen visually what happens into the frequency of the received signal due to the channel response of the receiver and how it's been changed by the filtering effect. And now what we're going to talk about is the penalty that is incurred in this bandwidth limitation. So what do I mean by penalty? Well, I'm going to talk about penalty in terms of my most important figure of merit for a communication system, and that is the bit error rate. So what happens to the bit error rate when I try to pass through a signal which is too wideband for the channel that's available to me? So I go back to theory, and here's a plot of the bit error rate in a logarithmic scale versus the digital signal to noise ratio, EB, the energy per bit divided by the spectral density, and 0 in dB. So this is for BPSK. This is the theoretical relationship. So I go into my numerical simulator and I put in the bandwidth limitation for my devices, just as I did in the illustrations earlier. And I run a bit error rate estimator at 600 megabits per second. And at 600 megabits per second, my Monte Carlo estimate falls right on top of the theoretical curve. There's no impact at 600 megabits per second. There's no appreciable distortion, and everything I transmitted is received just as I would have if there was only noise present and no distortion at all, as if I had an infinite bandwidth channel. Now I run it again at 2 gigabits per second, and again I'm pretty close to the theoretical curve. However, now as I go up higher, 2.5 gigabits per second, I see deviation from theory. That's because the theory is based on additive white Gaussian noise only. Zero distortion, assumes an infinite bandwidth channel. But in all practical systems, this is not the case. And so at some point, as you do a baud rate sweep, you will see that you're getting outside of the comfort zone of your system. You're trying to push through data too fast for the channel bandwidth. By the time I get to 2.75, I've got, even more of a penalty, even worse performance for the same noise. So if I take a fixed noise level, here I'm getting a nice low bit error rate, but if I go up at this noise level, my bit error rate is much higher for the same level of noise. Now as I go to 3 gigabits per second, I've sort of saturated. I've done my worst to my signal, and things have, the bit error rate stays about the same. So I said we can call this a penalty. We can quantify the penalty based on these bit error rate sweeps, where I change the noise level and see the impact on the bit error rate. So we've zoomed in on a certain area in the bit error rate. Here's around 10 to the minus 4. So when I talk about a penalty, it's usually referenced to some bit error rate level between 10 to the minus 3, 10 to the minus 4. It could be anything. It's arbitrary, but you say what it is. At this bit error rate, I have a penalty of such and such. And we also often call this an implementation penalty, because if everything was perfect, you would fall right on the theoretical curve. And at 600 megabits per second, we didn't have an implementation penalty. Our hardware looked pretty close to the real thing, at least in the simulator. So now what I have is I take the distance between the theoretical curve and my measured estimated bit error rate, and I can see that this distance between them is about 0.5 dB. So I would say the penalty at 2.5 gigabits per second is about 0.5 dB. And I can see that at 2.75 and at 3 gigabits per second, I've gone up to 1.25 dB of penalty. So a bit error rate sweep, by estimating the bit error rate for each different noise level, we can compare it to the theoretical curve and come up with a quantification of the implementation penalty. So, slowing down your transmission will eliminate distortion. So if you slow it down enough, you should be able to get a bit error rate curve that follows the theoretical curve. And this is often a good validation that in general your system is well set up. You're getting, you're normalizing your noise and your signal correctly. You can get everything to make sense at very low baud rate. Now, When the bandwidth is limited on your hardware, it would be great if you could use pulse shaping. Because everything I've just discussed with square pulses, it just gets easier if you can use a sinc or a raised cosine. These impairments will not kick in so soon. You'll be able to go up to higher baud rates and not see any implementation penalty. Why? Because this pulse shaping allows you to be very spectrally efficient. Of course, if you don't have pulse shaping and you do have impairments, then what you can do is equalization. You can actually, in your offline signal processing, do some post-processing, digital signal processing that can improve your received signal so that you make fewer errors. It can overcome some of the bit SNR penalty, not all of it, but can certainly make it not as bad.